Hello and welcome to the next YouTube video on my channel. If you want to get better at chess, then this video is just right for you, because in this video I'm going to talk about the beginning of the chess game, also called the debut, and I will start with the general disposition of the forces in the debut. So let's get started. The starting disposition of the forces in the debut plays a very big role in chess, and this decides a lot about the following moves, about the following attacks, battles, and in some cases also about the result of the game. And because of this, the theory of the debuts plays a very big role in the practical knowledge in chess. The general strategy of the debuts, so the goal of the debut, consists out of these three following principles, according to which the player must occupy the center of the chessboard, develop faster the chess pieces, and securely shelter the king. So the first point was occupying the center of the chessboard, and we want this because the center of the chessboard is the key to space on the chessboard, and the easiest way to occupy the center of the chessboard is to place a pawn duel on d4 and e4. Let's just do this. Because now we have here a pawn duel, and this pair makes it difficult for the black army to occupy the central squares, and also increases the radius of the movement of our bishops and also of our queen. The occupying of the center with 4 pawns, so pawn c4, d4, e4, and also f4, is way weaker than only a pawn duel, or also called a pawn pair, because here the white army falls behind with the development of the other chess pieces with this pawn chain. And it also makes it way easier for the black army to attack white's pawn chain here, and also attack the center of the chessboard with, for example, moves like pawn to c5, or also pawn to d6, followed directly by pawn to e5. Now I come to my second point, or to my second goal, which every chess player should try to achieve in the debut, and that's the fast development of the chess pieces. The former German chess world champion Emanuel Lasker once said that you should start the development of the chess pieces with the knights, because the knights have a very small range of motion in comparison to other chess pieces, like for example the bishop, who can move over the diagonals of the whole chessboard, also the queen. So both of these chess pieces, also the rook, can attack the opponent or the opponent's chess pieces already with the first move, but the knight can need more than just one move. So therefore, Emanuel Lasker says that we should start with the development of the knight. And for the development of the knight, it is necessary to move it in the center or near the center of the chessboard, where we already have this pawn duel on d4 and on e4. Because here, for example, if we move it on f3, it is difficult to chase away, or it is difficult for the black army to transfer the knight here on f3 now to another square. The bishops should be developed on these squares e2, d3, or c4, or of course on the other side with the queen's bishop on d2, e3, or f4. Let's just place them here, because here if we move them on c4 and f4, the bishops are way more active, and we can start to play way more aggressive. We can also move the bishops on g5 or on b5 when we want to attack the black army. This move is actually often very good if there's a black knight on f6 or on c6, because with this move we can attack this knight, and in some cases also pin it if these pawns aren't on this 7th rank, because here now this knight is pinned because of the check, and this knight is also pinned because if he moves away, for example here on h5, the bishop can just take out black's queen, which is of course not very good for the black army. But if we place the bishops here on the 5th rank, either on b5 or on g5, then they can be easily kicked away with moves like pawn to a6 or pawn to h6. Another option to develop the bishop is to play the fianchetto, so to place it on b2 or on g2. But to do this, we have to play an extra move, and that's pawn to b3 or pawn to g3, to give away the free square for the bishop. So after this we move here on g2 or on b2 with an extra move. This fianchetto can in some cases weaken a bit the position of the pawns on the side of the chessboard, but in lots of cases the fianchettos are still very strong. Because for example here we could do now the short castling after, and we see that we have that the king, so that's our third principle that we want to achieve in the debut. He's really sheltered here in the corner of the chessboard. He is defended by lots of pieces, so this fianchetto with a short castling under it is actually very strong. Now I come to the development of the rooks. In most of the games, the rook has to wait a bit for its development, because it is way smarter to attack the center of the chessboard with the pawns and to start with the development of the light chess pieces, so the bishops and the knights. So the rook has to wait a bit for its development, and the rook is also very often keeping on the first rank to do the castling, of course, either the short or also the long castling, and to probably occupy a free line or a free rank in the middle game. And the queen is very comfortable on squares like b3, c2, d2, or also on e2. Let's for example place it now here on d2, because here she's not on the first rank, so she does not interrupt the movement of the rooks here in the first rank. It does not interrupt the castling, and also not rook duo on the first rank. For example, after the short castling, very nice rook duo here on the first rank. So yes, in the debut of the game, we keep the queen here on one of these four squares. It's also not a problem to move it, for example, on d3, but I think that on d2 it is way more comfortable. Especially for beginners, it is not recommended to move the queen in the debut of the chess game in the center of the chessboard, because there she can get attacked very fast by the opponent, which can lead to a loss of tempo. And now I already come to the last chess piece that I have not talked about yet, and that's obviously the most important chess piece on the chessboard, our king. The best, the fastest, and also the easiest way to keep safety for the king is to do the short castling, so like this, which leads to a very strong rook pair here on the first rank of the chessboard. Of course, the long castling is possible too. But this castling needs an extra move with the queen, so the queen has to move a square up or a square to the side, just away, so we can do the long castling. And if the a pawn here on a2 gets under attack, then we need an extra move with the king from c1 on b1. So all the things that I've told you now are for the white chess pieces, but for the black chess pieces, nothing changes. It's just the same, but it's just turned around. And the position of the king in the center of the chessboard, so without the castling, is not a pretty good idea. Yes, it's just not practical. So now I will show you three different possible debuts of the white army. And the first one, the one that you can see here right now on the chessboard, is a debut where this position of the forces is in the center of the chessboard. So here we can see all the things and all the developments that I've just told you before in this video. We see the double pawn here on d and on e4. We see the light chess pieces that are developed, so our knights here, one on f3, the other on c3, then one bishop a bit more active than the other one here on c4, and the second bishop here on e3. The king here is completely safe in the corner of the chessboard. We did the short castling, we have a rook duo, so everything is very good. The white army could just continue now with attacking the black army. It depends on which side the black king right now is. Developing the chess pieces early, white can pre-arrange the game on the queen side or also on the king side. Now the second example of a debut for the white chess pieces, but this time a debut for a game on the queen side of the chessboard. So here in this position on the chessboard is is very practical because it is still very central. but not too aggressive. This debut, in comparison to the first one that I've shown you, is way more defensive, and therefore it can be actually played without even checking what the black army does. So we can save with this debut a lot of time. Our king is very good here, very good behind this pawn chain in the corner of the chessboard. He's also defended by pieces like, for example, our knight here on f3. And if the black army decides to trade this knight here, for example, with the bishop from g4, then we can just take back with our second knight from d2. And if the black army really starts to really attack our king here in the corner of the chessboard, then we can also defend our king here with moves like, for example, knight to f1. And with this move, we are also now controlling the very important g3 and h2 squares. So yes, if we want to play debut in just turned around, so not on the queen side of the chessboard, but right on the king side, then we can basically play the same thing then with a long castling and just the same development of the chess pieces, but just turned around. So the white army starts the game. Therefore, it is also very important for the black army how to begin the game or how to answer on white's first move. So the black army also just does the same as the white chess pieces. They attack the center of the chessboard with pawns, they develop chess pieces, light chess pieces, and so on and so on. After pawn to e4, the black army of course can just answer with pawn to e5. But if the black army wants to play something a bit more interesting, for example, if they want to let the white army to get the center and then attack the center, for example, if we play pawn to e6 and then the white army continues with pawn to d4, now they have this very strong double pawn or this pawn duel here in the center of the chessboard on the fourth rank. Then we now continue with pawn to d5, that's called the French defense. And here, if the white army now plays the advanced variation, so plays pawn to e5, then we can just break white's pawn center here with moves like pawn to c5 or pawn to f6. So yes, that was it already with this video in which I have showed you the general disposition of forces in the debut of the chess game. I really hope that this video helped you, and I also hope that you have liked this video. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, bye!